Film Rage presents Verbal Masturbation with Bryce and Jim. All right. This week we have the writers and directors of the 2019 animated adventure, The Old Man Movie, Oskar Lehemaa and Mikk Mägi.
Okay, so guys, how you doing?
Doing great, Jim. Thanks for having us.
We're gonna be gushing through this whole thing. You might see some tears in my eyes, and you know, as we know, we call it verbal masturbation. So as far as your film is to us, it's definitely masturbation worthy, so that you know.
Oh my God. Is it okay if I already feel uncomfortable? Is that
yes,
right?
Masturbated while we were doing it as well.
It was very strenuous. It was very physical.
Yes.
And they're going to teach us later this thing called mental masturbation, but
yeah, no hands. It's like
no hands. It's just like bam.
No hands, but feels so good.
So we do a thing when we interview our directors and actors called Or, and it's kind of like. Well, it's not kind of like anything. It's kind of like Fuck, Marry, Kill, but it's not. So if you know what that is, most people do or don't. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to ask you guys some questions just to loosen things up, you know, kind of do some mental calisthenics maybe. And just tell us what you prefer. It's an or answer. So DreamWorks or Pixar?
Pixar.
Pixar.
All right. I also agree.
Is there other wrong answers, by the way? At any point are you going to cut us off and just chuck us off the phone?
There is sometimes the wrong answers, but in your case, because of the question specifically made for the Estonian audience, there is no wrong answers today.
No. If you give the wrong answer, I'm cutting the thing off.
Oh no, shit! Look at my hand. I'm shaking. You know?
Okay, so Nick Park or Henry Selick?
Nick Park. That's easy for me. Nick Park.
I don't know.
Come on.
Nick Park. I can't decide.
Yeah. I have to go Nick Park. Actually, I'll make a comment later because I want to grind through the or. This is probably the most important question we're going to ask today, which is Jean-Claude Van Damme or Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan for me, 100%.
I have to go with Van Damme. Yeah, on that one.
Van Damme.
Yeah.
Okay, now I may butcher this because remember, I am not the linguist in the group, but I'm using these rock bands that I actually downloaded and listened to on Apple from Estonia. One is called Cosmicud or Cosmicood maybe, or
Cosmicood, yeah.
Estoner, which the name alone made me want to listen to their entire collection. So I don't know if you know both those bands or either of those bands.
I think Cosmicood is like the more popular one here, but I think I have also heard of Estoner. But if I would have to choose, then I would go with Estoner as well because of the name.
I'm gonna go with Cosmicood because I actually know their tracks and they're like good.
Oh. Are they any good?
I would say they're not good. Yeah, I like them.
But they're not.
But I'm biased.
But they're not Estoners, if you know what I'm saying.
That is true. It's a rich name. That keeps on giving. It's good.
No. So Amsterdam or Prague?
Oh, I've never been to Amsterdam though. I've been to Prague a few times, so I'm gonna say Amsterdam just because I'm aspirational and I wanna, keep the dream alive.
Yeah.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Prague because I have been there as well, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's on my bucket list too. Although now Estonia is on my bucket list, so
it should be. Yeah. Absolutely.
I absolutely
because you have to come to the Stoner live,
Yeah, I want to see a Stoner live. Totally. Is cannabis legal in Estonia?
No. It's not
Okay.
criminal though. I think you can like have some, but not sell.
Okay, perfect.
So unless you want to set up shop here, or just, you know, if you don't want to do business, it depends on what if it's business or pleasure, what you're coming here for. So.
This is sounding like a new business opportunity. Okay, so football clubs, Flora or Levadia? Levadia?
I'm gonna go with Levadia. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Flora. I'm not a big football fan or soccer fan or whatever you call it, but I'm gonna say Flora. Mikk, you said Levadia?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love how you guys are basically counter to each other on just about everything.
Well, it's exactly with you, Jim and Bryce, right? Like one is cannot speak, the other one's very good at speaking. Exactly. And by the way, the guy who's not good at speaking, by your own admission, is the one who's always speaking. So that's very fascinating.
I said linguist. You can't shut me up, but I can barely speak English. In case you didn't notice that.
This whole segment is Jim's thing. So
all right, got it.
Bryce doesn't think knowing important details about our guests is really that important. He likes the facts. He's spreadsheet man. Okay, so the last question, and then we'll get into the meat or meat adjacent for our vegan friend Bryce. For beers, Saku or anything else?
Anything else?
I'm gonna go also
because they started putting like sugar, I think, inside the beer, so they all taste like very like sweet. It used to be Saku Original was like the best. I'm giving you like deep beer, Estonian beer knowledge now. So yeah, Saku used to be good, but now it's totally gone to shit. So
it's basically like when you
imported is better.
So when you go to Estonia, it's like they have a thing over here in North America where they call it like Smirnoff Ice, the Smirnoff Ice challenge.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So is that what's happening now? So the challenge is basically like you can punk your friends by putting a Smirnoff Ice somewhere in their house, and when they find it, they have to record themselves drinking it because it's awful.
No,
I'm not sure it's Saku is that bad. I'm not sure. I think if you would find a Saku
Smirnoff Ice here in Estonia was like the fancy drink to have. I think everybody really loved it.
You drink the Saku with an umbrella. Oh, you drink it with an umbrella. Oh God, fuck me, I tell you.
But I have to agree with Mikk. I think I'll take anything else because I think like Saku is the most mainstream, one of the two mainstream beers in Estonia. So I'm just like, I think I'm just fed up with it. I'm not sure if I know if I agree with Mikk's sugar conspiracy, but maybe it is true. But I'm just very fed up with Saku. So fuck Saku.
And
or if they want to sponsor us, then don't fuck Saku. Then Saku is great.
Yeah, exactly. They can sponsor us here in Canada too, because we'll start drinking it if I have to. To whore myself out. All right, Brycey, why don't you take over the linguistics act of this performance?
All right. So you're done now?
Sure, why not?
All right. So it was a pleasure to see your film at one of our favorite film festivals here in Calgary, the Calgary Underground Film Festival. Tell us about just taking your movie to different festivals around the world.
I mean, we've been super fortunate to have had a great run with the film, but of course, I mean, it's a cliche answer at this point, but we had the fucking COVID shebang. So we literally, I don't know, Mikk, if it's true, right? Like we've only been to one festival live, like actually visited physically one festival.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many festivals the film has been to. Like we have had a really good run, but it kind of, we would have loved to, for example, visit Calgary Underground Film Festival, but we just couldn't, right? Like it was also locked down.
Yeah, it was shut down.
So it's like, yeah, exactly. So it's the good with the bad, right? But I mean, we're super happy that we wouldn't be talking to you guys if it wouldn't have played at CUF, probably, right?
Absolutely.
Wait, I was going to jump in. Yeah, I was just going to ask. So which one did you go to? You said you went to one. Which one did you get to?
It was the Brussels Anima Festival. It was
okay.
It was such a cool festival because it was also the Old Man Festival premiere. So that was literally the first festival we ever played, and we had only the film had only played in Estonia, and it had already by that time like sort of wide release in Estonia. and we sort of knew that how it played with a local crowd, but some of the like the character and a lot of the humor to us anyway seemed it's like very local, like very Estonia specific. So we were scared shitless when we were in Brussels, like on the stage, to like, hey, do you want to say a few words before the screening starts? And it was like, I'll think like maybe 300 or 400 people in the audience, like really good turnout. And we were like, we were almost apologizing before the film started. Like, guys, we're like, we have no idea how this will play, like with subtitles, all the funny gags, like the funny voices and stuff. Like, does it? We didn't know if it even translates. And I mean, in the beginning, like the first like 30 seconds of the film or something, that like a cow explodes, and by that time everyone started laughing in the audience, and we were like, oh yes. And for the rest of the festival, we could like, you know, relax.
The nerves are gone.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very warm welcome, and that's why I'm again saying that it sucks that we would have wanted to enjoy it with people all around the world, but we sadly only got we were lucky to actually, you know, enjoy it with a Brussels audience.
Yeah, with at least one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right, so Mick, tell us about BOP.
BOP is short for Birds of Paradise. It's an animation studio that we are working out of here in Estonia. So I think the studio is now about like 10 years old. We started it with our friends from school pretty much. And and we also produced this Old Man movie from that studio. So, and I'm working there now.
Full time, getting a paycheck?
Yeah, getting a paycheck, everything. Big money,
nice.
good money.
Are you also selling weed?
Yeah.
I heard like it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Heard it's a thing now in a stoner. In a stoner.
In a stoner, no. It's stoner.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh, I'm super excited because we also we didn't. Sometimes I can't remember my own name, as we've already discussed. But Oskar, you've now had 2 films actually play at Cuff, didn't you? Because didn't you have a short film that also played at the festival?
Yes.
A year before that?
Yeah, we played there with I think we played at Cuff with Bad Hair. Yeah, like it's a short film. Yeah, it's a short horror film. I did. It also got released the same year as Old Man in spring of 2019. So that was a big year.
Oh, okay. So was it playing before the film at any places or no?
So you mean if the short was playing before Old Man?
Yeah. Did it ever happen?
I don't think. I think maybe a few festivals actually. You're right. I think a few festivals did it like this, but I think one in Italy. I can't remember, but I don't think that was never sort of the intention, because they were quite separate productions that live in 2 very separate worlds. So the short is a live action horror, body horror.
We saw it. Yeah.
And then there's very different worlds. So in many ways they probably. I mean, I appreciate the festivals are packaging them that way, and they know their crowd, of course, obviously the best, but I'm not sure if I would necessarily package them that way, because otherwise, people get like stabbed in the eye in the beginning, and then we go with exploding cows. I don't know if they gel that well. But,
yeah, they're both horror. Let's face it, right? Cows exploding, stabs in eyes. It's a thing. But Mick wasn't involved in that project, right?
No, there was that was a really long-winded project. I think I started, working on it. It took like 7 or 8 years to get that film from idea to actually to the premiere. Whereas Old Man movie was actually quite the opposite. It took us from the inception of the idea to the premiere like almost 2 years or something, which is like it's very quite ironic, because one is a live action short and the other one is like stop motion animation, which normally takes ages, but that was a really quick turnaround.
Yeah, well, you kind of led into a question we're going to ask later, but we'll expand on that. But that's the fact that you did that in 2 years is actually literally blowing my mind. The amount of work that's involved is wow. Okay, so is milk really that big of a thing in Estonia? And obviously, to your point earlier about the comedy of that you didn't know if it would get outside of Estonia, is milk really that much of a thing there?
A little bit, I guess so, like, because more in the Soviet times, I think it was even more. Now it's more like this, like, you know, this woke culture and almond milk and all this stuff has also like arrived here in Estonia. So I think it is going away a little bit now. But I remember when I was a kid and my mother used to be like really upset that I didn't want to drink milk. She was like, you have to drink it. It's like the nectar. If you don't drink it, you will be like disabled or something. He was so like, it's for the bones. You know, you have to drink it, otherwise your bones are gonna crack or something. And I didn't want to drink it, and I like threw it out of the window, etc. So, and also like because Estonia is like a rural country a little bit, so I think there's a lot of farmers here, and we have this tradition that the farmer in the morning like brings in the countryside this 3-liter jar and leaves it at your door, like the fresh milk,
Wow.
etc. So I think it is a big part of Estonian culture. Yeah,
that's pretty cool, actually. Like, it's little things like that where you said like it's a very rural community, and people probably still like the fact that you're getting it like a milkman. I don't even think that exists in our culture anymore, and it used to, I think, as we were kids. But that's super cool.
I think it was big, like Mikk was saying, it was big when that all the milkman thing and the rural thing was really big when we were kids. I think in the last years it certainly has disappeared a little bit, but now it's all again coming back because young people are moving out into the suburban areas and even to the countryside, and starting to raise their own chickens and cows. And so it's as with anything, it's just like it goes in cycles and ups and downs. But I think, to Mikk's point, that Estonia being like a rural country, of course we have like urban areas. I don't want to, it's not like the Shire or anything. Like there are, we have cities, they're small cities admittedly, but we have cars and we don't only eat cabbage. So I don't want to make it seem like it's like Borat country or something. So it's like, but there's certainly rural areas. And I think most people our age have this thing in their childhood that we visited our grandmothers and all the great grandmothers, and those normally lived in the countryside, and also a lot of people from our generation are from the countryside. And I think like Mikk, you're from a smaller town and originally, right? Like you've lived in smaller communities. So I think this all really sort of seeps into the film, admittedly, like in a completely backwards, weird, surreal way, but these communities like existed then and do exist now, like small rural things,
Nice. Yeah, and in Calgary in particular. So we're a fairly, we're a pretty big city as far as Canada is concerned. We're about 1.5 million people now. But if you go outside of Calgary, there's a lot of rural, so we don't have to drive very far. And it's true. There's probably people going. I don't think there's a milkman, but they probably is. They can just go get some milk from their neighbor, maybe.
But do you still drink milk in Canada, though?
I do, but Bryce doesn't. So 50% of Canadians do not, apparently. We're perfectly the example of. We're the representation of Canada for you today.
Oh, nice.
I drink it. He doesn't.
Yes. All right. So let's get into the generic have to ask questions. So where did the concept from the Old Man movie come from?
I love your enthusiasm as you're asking.
I know, right? It's like he wants.
I hate these questions.
Like,
you guys have probably answered them 1,000 times.
Yeah, get it over.
We can make it
Yeah.
short.
We were just
But
like me and Oskar. We were just like we were totally like broke. We had lost all our money gambling. It was like really bad situation. I had just like gambled away my apartment. I was also like addicted to fentanyl really hard.
And masturbation, don't forget that. You've been doing that nonstop.
It's all like, it comes, okay, I don't want to get into that. It comes together like the masturbation and fentanyl. So yeah, I lost everything. And then we were like given one chance, like to get some money back, like to like, buy us out of slavery to the Russian mob. And then it's like, you have to make a movie.
Yeah, we thought like what's the most profitable way? What's the easiest way to make money in the world? It's like making movies. It's easy. It's puppet animation.
It sounds super easy, especially the project that you did. It sounds so easy.
I didn't really want a stock answer like that. I wanted you
You didn't want a rags to riches story, did you, Bryce?
Yeah.
Well, fine then.
All right. So for the next generic question, how long did it take to shoot?
Whatever.
You mean the fentanyl? I've been doing it for 10 years now.
It's pretty fast, though.
It takes like 10 minutes to,
There you go.
cook it and, do
I'm
this.
actually talking about the film.
Right. Here for shooting, it's like one.
Yeah. Wow. That looks like a dental dam kind of
It's
thing.
it's with veins to do. Like.
Fix your eyelashes.
But it took 2 years actually.
Yeah.
Was it, so okay, we're not getting enough juice here. We got to squeeze this. We got to squeeze this a little harder out of you two. So, like, have you guys been friends since you were children? Did the movie just like all of a sudden you went out to grandma's one day to get milk? And you said, you know what we need to do is write a movie about going out to fucking deal with milk. Like, is that actually how the movie started? You guys were on your way to grandma's house.
Yeah, and we were like, how this could be even greater if this was all puppets.
Yeah, it was like explode. I was like going to Oskar, like, don't you ever wish your grandma would just like explode?
And I was like, yeah all the time, man. Let's do it. And that was 2 years ago, baby, and here we are.
And I was like, yo, Oskar, check this out. I made a puppet. Oskar. We're gonna make a movie with this puppet.
But
how did you get into puppets? Like, I know some people do it for pleasure, wink, wink. Some people just do it because, they're afraid to show them. Like in Bryce's case, he would prefer to be represented by a puppet. As you see, he's got his puppet equivalents in front of him because he's god awful ugly. So it makes sense to replace him with a puppet, right? But why did you guys do that? Like, why puppets? Why not live action?
Mikk, let's, now that we have gotten all the truth out of the way, it's now that we've gotten all the truth out of the way, let's go to that. To be honest, I think this is all the Mikk's brainchild, really, like the character and all the origin of the character is, Mikk would probably tell it a million times better, but in short,
you do it.
I do it. I take it. I'll try.
Story.
So tell the story. Do you have 2 hours? Let's go. So basically, I think the character by today, it's already 9 years or 8 years or 10 years old. Like, it's a while ago when Mikk and his good friend Peter Ritso, they were in the university and they created this character just to do as a graduation film, right? Like, they did this character and they made a graduation short with this character, and Mikk made the voice, and there was a voice that they had done for a while back then, and it made them laugh. It's really funny, actually, that normally Mikk is telling the story, but now I'm telling the story, and he's attentively listening. So I'm going to,
move your mouth, Mikk, as he's doing it. You can pretend you're the puppet.
Yeah. So basically, you can grab a coffee now, Mikk. So you can come back in 15. I'll handle this. But basically, they created this character together, and I think they got even for this animation for their own graduation, they got a D or something. So it wasn't even that well received. Nobody liked it, but they uploaded it.
Like it.
Yeah, but others actually really liked it, and they uploaded it to YouTube, I guess, right? Like back then, which still quite early days YouTube, and it became a sort of a viral sensation. And I actually remember seeing it also for the first time. I was like, what the fuck is this? So the first one they did, in the very first one, is 1.5 or 2 minutes long. And in the very first episode of the Old Man sketch, which was now 8, 9, 10 years ago, Old Man basically crawls into a cow to get warm or something. So it's already, that's where it started. That was the starting point. So it's really super fucked up. But people really dug it, and they started doing more sketches, and the sketch became really popular. And then they even were, got an assignment to do sketches for an Estonian national television broadcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it became this viral phenomenon. And I actually knew Mikk from, I think, a friend we both had. And so we sort of were friendly, but we didn't really work together until Mikk was approached to do a feature-length film with this character, which at that point was already quite popular. And my background is in live action directing more, and sort of comedy and sketches and stuff. So, and genre stuff. And Mikk approached me, and we started writing it together and directing it together. And it all became our sort of partnership on this film came about like very organically. And but I was called on board by Mikk, who is like the OG old man. So it's all credit to him.
Okay. And is that Mikk? Is it like? Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's correct.
Bullshit.
That's correct.
I cut out all the. I left out all the
Oskar.
fentanyl. I left
Yeah,
out all the
that's
fentanyl. So,
The clean version.
We already
That's-
that.
That's the PG version, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you don't get creativity without drug addiction, right? That's what they say. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's in.
Yeah, I've never been sober though. I wouldn't know.
Oh, there you go.
I'm always been high.
Attaboy. Way to take one for the team.
Oh.
So, how many animators were working on this thing?
I think 4 or 5. A really
Yeah.
small crew though, who were really overworked. So
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
that's-
said it took you 2
long
years.
hours.
But, so what's an average hours in a work week?
Actually, like animate the time it took to animate, I think it was even maybe less than a year, maybe 8-9 months or something. Then I think 1 year was like the pre-production and like script writing, etc. Then I think there was like one very intense year of animating, and in the same time like rewriting and editing and doing the animatic and storyboard like as we were going along a little bit. And then and then in the end it was really short, like maybe a month or 2 of editing and doing the effects.
It was really like
sound.
everything was sort of overlapping at all stages. But to your question, like to answer your question about the animators, like the team was really, it was like 4 or 5, like Mikk said. But even at some stage, like when it started, we started out like quite slow, so we didn't have the knowledge. Like it was our first feature-length animation project, and so we weren't that good at running like several sets at a time. So, and as we started it, we were like running maybe 1 or 2 sets at a time, and so it was 2 animators working on stuff. But as we progressed, like at the final months of the production, we had like, I don't know, 5 sets that's running at the same time, and the animators
To be able to speed it up. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But even like honestly, I mean, we had I think that one of the busiest days we had like a small studio just dedicated to this project, and on the busiest days, so we had like effects guys, and I was editing, and Mikk was directing the animators and stuff, and so everyone was doing something. And on the busiest days we're maybe still only like 15 people, I guess, or something in this. So
wow.
maybe a little more than that.
Yeah.
So it's still like such a skeleton crew, and everyone was so good on it. That's why it came together. Otherwise we would fucked totally,
Yeah, and is it a case of now this is kind of like your team, quote unquote? Like, is this your crew? Are you? It's just kind of leading us into, are you going to be doing more projects like this? Is this now the direction you both want to go? Are you guys going to be like the Coen brothers for animation out of Estonia, or is he like, yeah, I'm done, I don't want to work with this guy? What's happening next?
Well, with this old man character, it's like I think he's like saga will continue definitely. It's like the character, we just like launched an ice cream, and we made like an ice cream commercial. That, and so we are working on like smaller sketches on those, but together with Oskar at the moment we are like thinking of we're like writing a script of a thriller, and that's not a puppet film. So maybe sometime in the future we will make a sequel to the old man film, and then definitely I would all again ask Oskar to join me on this crusade. But at the moment, it's like we're working on this live action script together, and this old man is just doing some smaller sketches like in the commercial realm, trying to get money for fentanyl.
Is the next movie gonna focus more on the old man or more on Mart? I think there wasn't enough Mart in this film. I think he was by far the most intelligent character in the entire movie. So.
Yeah, interesting you would point that out, because then the name of the next movie is going to be Mart and the Martians. So it's already been this. You're like clairvoyant. It's like
And we will approach you for some notes, Jim. So I mean,
Yeah,
so-
absolutely.
we're interested to hear your input.
Yeah.
You
so
can have the
you can send
Martians.
the first draft over to
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. You can have the Martians land in Canada first and abduct Bryce and I, and potentially there may be probing involved as we get to Estonia to meet up with Mark.
It's
So
weird
the
that you would
probing, it
suggest
will be
it.
in the first act.
I'm
In
always
all the
game.
acts. Yeah.
In all the acts, yeah. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like a clip right in the middle, like the subliminal penises that they used to put in the 70s. It's just like all of a sudden, boop, there's Bryce and I with the aliens. And
But
bam,
I love the idea that we could tap maybe into some Canadian financing. So yeah, sure. Canadian probing aliens. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. We're game.
Yeah.
Mart and the Martians. And then okay, speaking of probing, this kind of got me a little off topic. Okay, where did the tree fuck scene come from? Now, are you big fans of Evil Dead? I literally had to stop watching the movie the second time. Of course, the first time we saw it, we streamed it live. But seeing it the second time, I had to stop it because I couldn't stop laughing. Where who thought of that? And can I please give you a virtual kiss? That was the best scene in any movie ever.
Oh my god, thank you. That's high praise.
Great. Thank you.
It's funny that you should bring up Evil Dead because I mean, Evil Dead for me is the whole franchise and Sam Raimi and all that stuff is big, and we actually referenced Evil Dead quite a bit, but it was more for Evil Dead 2 and the chainsaws and some of the aesthetics and all that stuff.
I totally picked up on that.
Yeah. So I'm glad you did, but the tree fuck scene. How did it come about?
I think it's with the tree god character. It's like a character who has already also appeared in our sketches. So I think that like the personality of the tree god is like everybody thinks he's really wise and can like perform some kind of magic, but the reality is he's really stupid and very horny, and he just likes rape. Pretty much. I don't know. He's like very horny. And for some reason, he's like put in a position that everybody is really like, they think he's like a god or something. But actually, he already.
But I mean, to be fair, Mikk, like that's totally like 100% what the tree god has always been about. But I think initially, so there's different characters in the sketches and some of them we didn't even manage to include in the film. So I think we definitely wanted to have a scene where they sort of transition almost like. So everything takes place in the woods, but we wanted to have like different flavors to the woods, and so it wouldn't be visually all very samey, and it would have some kind of like more grand journey and go into progress into darkness and whatnot. And we wanted there to be like a portal or a like clear line when they venture into like more darkness or whatever, like more magical realms, right? So, and I think it came about like quite sort of organically that we didn't, and you can correct me if I remember it wrong, but I think at first we sort of had it just like as a portal of trees, and there was another character who was sort of like a wise man asking them questions or something. And then we designed the portal, we just sketched the portal with Mikk, and we thought like, okay, the portal kind of looks like it would be cool if the portal would be like a tree, and we started like, wait. Dude, we have a character who is literally called Tree God, and we have a portal with a big ass hole in it, which looks like a tree. Like it's like we're doing it ass backwards right now. Like let's put two things together. It's a tree, and then I think the tractor in and out. I'm not sure. I think it just came from the horniness of the character, like Mikk pointed out. So all those things, it was quite natural actually, and actually with that, it's very natural. It's nature. Yeah, it's like National Geographic basically. It's, David Attenborough would.
In nature, it's like.
Let it happen. Nature.
The wild tractors roaming the forests as they copulate with any tree god they find. I love it. So you guys grew up in post-Soviet Estonia, right?
Yeah, a little bit in the Soviet as well, yeah. But true, yeah. I was 4 years old when we became independent.
Yeah, you probably don't remember too much of that, right? But how did that converting? Because you know, that's a big change in the world dynamics as you came out and became your own country again. Do you think that had an impact on how fucking hilarious you guys are? Like, did the Soviets create? Because you know they always say the funniest people have had the most tragic, obviously addictive personalities, like Mikk. But like, did the Soviet trauma cause you guys to be much more funny?
Wow.
I don't
That's a
know.
good question.
Maybe, yeah, sure, maybe. I'm glad you think that the movie was funny, and because for us it's pretty much a drama movie. It's like
It's like a
we
documentary.
cry, like the
and-
tractor's sex scene. Everybody's crying. You know, we remember the
It's so
Soviet
beautiful.
They're
Yeah.
not using protection. What's happening?
We actually
Unprotected.
in Estonia we marketed it sort of like as a historic drama, and we were very offended by the way actually you reviewed it and the way you are approaching it right now. And we wanted to bring it up now actually. And now is a good time because what the
Perfect
fuck, guys?
timing to be
what the
offended.
fuck? Yeah, what the fuck? We're very
Absolutely.
offended. This is our
Well,
history.
I apologize for laughing at your cultural heritage, but it was so funny. I'm sorry. I want to go to Estonia just to see the milk and the trees and the exploding cows.
They're all here. It's
And
like a
creepy-
giant theme park. Yeah.
But definitely Estonians, I guess, like what is like, it's very dark here most of the year. It's like cold and dark a lot, and yeah, we do have this past of the Soviet occupation and everything. And Nordic people in general, I think, like we stay more indoors, so everybody's like a little bit more introverted, and also like the humor is maybe a little bit darker. Well, not that everybody has really dark humor, but I think like we tend to be like sarcastic more and ironic and etc. So yeah, I think that's like, I think the occupation also had something to do with it, I guess. Yeah.
It maybe wasn't the Soviets per se as the geography of where you're at. We get Canadians, we get kind of thrown into the same boat because we live pretty north as well, right? So it's they say that we have this very dry, almost annoying sense of humor. So, but Estonians don't seem to have that at all.
Actually, I think no. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be, and the fact that you like the film and it clearly resonated for you guys. I wouldn't be surprised that there's a good part of like your heritage and geographical where you are at geographically that goes into that, because I like Mikk said, like if it's fucking cold half of the year, cold and dark, it just does something to you. And if it's like that for generations, and for sure it's like, it's not just the Soviet occupation, but throughout hundreds of years we've been occupied by so many different countries, because you mentioned there's 1.5 million people in where?
In Calgary, yeah,
in Calgary, 1.5.
Yeah.
So there's about 1.3 million people in all of Estonia. So
wow.
yeah, so we're a very small nation which been fucked from all sides throughout history, and it's very cold and dark and it sucks. So that definitely does something to your humor for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it clearly worked. I'm glad that you.
And if you're not laughing, you're crying, is what I'm getting from Mikk on that one. I'm guessing.
That's a good.
Also helps with the crying. So
yeah, as long as you're not crying. Was it yogurt or was it ice cream? No, sweating.
Oh yeah, you're referencing this. I think he was crying.
He was crying ice cream. I think.
The most delicious tears. Oh god. Okay, so what the fuck is with IMDb? So I looked at all of the credits, and actually, when you look at, I'm not sure if you guys even care about IMDb, but it's kind of the source we get for most films. And there's basically 4 voice credits, and then everyone is just voice. So it's like who? I think like at the end of the movie, you guys have all the credits in there, right? But when you go onto IMDb, look at Oskar, he's going on IMDb right now.
I'm gonna go now.
When you go into IMDb, it's just like so-and-so voice, so-and-so voice, so-and-so voice. You don't get the breakdown of each person. Are you seeing it right now?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Look, I think I first of all, I don't think we can put that on IMDb because I mean, I think everyone has to fill out their own IMDb page.
Is that
So I mean, in a way, sort of, it's like either the production or whatever. So I mean, it's
So you're
probably,
saying you're saying
on
all the
our
people
end.
that did the voice acting are all lazy? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think
no.
it's more I guess the production company, us pop. I think we have just been so lazy that we haven't gone in and like filled out all the characters. I think.
Yeah. It totally might be. And I'm actually very okay, there's a plenty of, so yeah, there's a lot of, you know what it could also be. I love that how we're like fixing the problem as we go.
Yeah.
As we yeah. But I think there's a lot of people here, and I immediately started thinking like, okay, where's this, you know, how come there's so many people in our cast? Because honestly, like a lot of, like a majority of the voices is Mikk. You know, he does the old man voice, and he also does two of the children, and I think a bunch of other stuff. But I think the fact that the cast is so big just reflects that we had a lot of good people show up to do like sort of crowd stuff. So if you see if you've seen the film, then there's plenty of places, especially in the middle, where there's like crowds of like hipsters and hippies and whatever, and also the people in the village, right? So I mean, it could also be that they did a very, very good job, but it's very hard to describe their like specific
Villager
roles.
7. Villager 7.
Numbers, exactly. Yeah. Thirsty villager number 7. You know, milk, Beaver. You know, that's the kind of.
They had a speaking role. There you go. They're getting, you know, wage whack.
All right. So maybe just talk about the music in the film.
Oh man.
Yeah, you can get the soundtrack on Apple. I downloaded it. I've been listening to it all week.
Nice.
What was actually great is like we also besides the main like composition, or how do you say the main score, we also got to use some classic Estonian songs. So there was like one of this one song by this religious Estonian band where they are like all coming to buy the milk for the first time. So this like kind of like a meme song here in Estonia, because it actually, if you know the lyrics and you know about the backstories of the people singing, then it's even more funnier, because they're like religious, like twins. They're like twin men and twin women.
Oh, wow.
Very
ABBA-esque?
What?
ABBA-esque?
Yeah,
like ABBA, but twins.
Yeah.
I guess
exactly,
something, but like a little bit more, like a lot more religious and a lot more cringy, and you know, like
so
funny, a lot more funny. But yeah, I mean, like, I think what the other one was when there's the massacre, right? Like the massacre when the milk guys attack, it's the Suusabaasis on Tantsupidu.
Yeah, also
yeah. So we
Estonian song.
Yeah, classic Estonian song. But I think the elephant in the room, we should the rock and roll elephant in the room, we should address is Jaagup Kreem. Is a legend in Estonia. So the Axl Rose-esque character that you see there is very much
the ass concert. Yeah.
The ass concert. Oh, nice. We never put it that way.
Ass concert.
I wish we would have had ass concert somewhere.
Yeah. I saw Jaagup Kreem at the marketplace yesterday. It was
really? Did you
food? Yeah.
Did you talk to him at all?
Yeah, I said hi, and he said he was eating noodles and said hi.
Yeah. Because he's always switched on. He's like, all the time, always, like no breaks, always ass concert.
Always ass concert all the time.
But that was like having him on board was huge. I mean, that was a whole fucking saga getting him on board, you know, like because
some of the producers were like, you're not going to get him. It's like, you know, it's not looking good. He's not gonna say yes. But we were like persisted. We were like called him like, oh hello, can you be in my movie? And eventually he like agreed that yes.
Well, because he'd probably seen the clips on YouTube. Right?
And
he's probably seen the clips.
He hated all of them. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, I was like, I'm Mikk, I'm doing this old man. And he was like, yeah, but I prefer like British humor. So it's like, yes, Mr. Prime Minister and this type of humor. So that's like more of art, you know. So I was like, yeah.
That speaks rock to my heart.
But I would
sure.
like you to have an ass concert, so maybe you could come. So yeah, it took a little bit of convincing.
It was like it was really. I mean, Mikk did all the talking beforehand on by phone, but there was the one time when we actually, I think the time that he decided sort of to be on board was when we took all the storyboards with us, and we went to the sort of like rock and roll bar basically, and he came in from we were very nervous and drinking like water and like just having the nervous shakes, and he would literally he always travels everywhere on his chopper. Like, it's ridiculous. It's just like
nice.
he comes with chopper, like it's like the Jurassic Park moment where the water is shaking on the fucking table, and it's like, oh my god, there he comes, and he always moves in slow motion because it's so fucking cool. And he basically sat down, and we had all the storyboards and everything, and like there was like 2 or 3 meetings throughout this whole thing where he came and he sat down and he said like, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I thought about it, I'm not gonna do it. And we would go back to square one. Fuck, come on. We would do our whole spiel, but it's actually very funny, and we're gonna show you in a good light. And to his credit, I mean, he doesn't need to do this shit. Like, he really doesn't.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need this. So he's honestly, he's big in Estonia, and he's like for 20 years now or more. So he really, he has a good sense of humor. And finally, I think the thing that actually finally sold it for him was that he came to our studio, and he started the meeting with like, okay guys, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna do this, like I decided I'm not gonna do this. And then we showed him the sets and stuff, and this is all credit to our crew, like the puppet masters and everyone who had built all the sets. Like, the fucking bear's ass is like it's a room of silicone basically, like with all the things and backlit and stuff, and it's like, oh, these guys are for real. And then finally our puppet master Trine Baumer showed the puppet which he had been working on, like the Cream puppet, which he had been working on for like a week, and showed the faithful tattoos on the arm. And then like a rock and roll, like the Axl Rose came out of him. It's like, actually the tattoo is more like this here, and he's like, he started giving his input, and then we knew that, okay, he's on board. So
it was can we have an offer for you? You can either perform at the Sydney Opera House or in a bear's ass. He's like, bear's ass.
100%.
Yeah, it was like,
once
he saw the ass, he was like, I'm going in.
Sold. I'm going into the ass. That is.
And now it's perfect. The rest is history. Yeah. And of course, like, because we started talking about music, like, it wasn't just his, his performance and his voice acting, which was, he has a background as an actor actually, and he's very good at this. So that was all really fun working with him. But he took the time to do this song, and I'm a fan of his. But in my mind, I really enjoy the song. When I think it's one of the best songs that his band has done in ages, really. And I'm so happy that it's in our film. So yeah, that's written just for this film. So I mean, it's been a while since the release of this film, and as I'm telling you this right now, it just hit me like, oh my god, Jakob Graham made a song for our bare ass movie. It's insane. Literally, I don't know if you have Estonia is small, but I don't know if I can put it into proper perspective for you guys. It's like Axl Rose would write like bare ass.
Well,
song.
for us, it would be Bryan Adams, I think, maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bryan Adams is probably
lighter.
Or
there
Justin Bieber. Isn't he Canadian?
He's got tattoos.
Although he hasn't lived here in a long time. We're not.
That's right.
So you're sort of giving up on him. I love that you're giving up.
Yeah,
on him. So,
we moved on.
Very dryly, he hasn't lived here for.
Never sure we were ever on
Vincent
board.
Bieber, all the Canadians went like.
Exactly.
We don't talk about Justin over here anymore.
So did make a puppet of the Justin Bieber and put him on the town square. So
nice. He can be abducted with us and get probed by the aliens as we go to Estonia.
Right, probing, a lot of probing, sure.
A lot of probing. He seems to keep enjoying.
Sure, Jim. There's gonna be plenty.
So you got a small country, as you've told us many times. How many movie theaters are there, and did you play in all of them?
Yeah,
many?
I think we did play in most of them. And what was really, I don't know exact number, but there is quite a lot of movie theaters, like not so many bigger ones. But what was awesome is that the movie really went on the road here in Estonia, so it played in all those like smaller like
Right.
village town halls, etc., etc.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, we had like tons of screenings. So yeah.
Yeah, we actually got me and Mick and I, which I don't know, I never know which one's right. So we,
Sure.
yeah. Oh, don't tell the linguist. Oh my God. So,
Yeah, exactly.
so Mick and Oskar went to the road with the film. So I was very happy that we got to sort of actually see the people who, you know, in all those little places that Mick mentioned. So we got their sometimes very shocked response and sometimes very, you know, we got to, yeah, it was great. And sometimes they were big fans, and sometimes we, you know, we could take pictures with them and answer questions. And that was, I think that was one of the, such a lovely tour this film had. You know, that was really a great experience.
So
Wow.
after the tour, was the consensus that you guys are now like the Tim Burtons of Estonia?
Actually, I was sent out of the country. I'm right now in, yeah, I'm speaking from Finland. Interpol is after me. So it's just really, it's been a lot of problems.
WikiLeaks 2.0.
Yeah, it's old milk leaks.
Milky Leaks.
Leaks. Thank you. Thanks for picking that one up. Thank you, Milky Leaks. Yeah, no, I don't think. I think it's like the film is. I think the film is quite beloved in Estonia for sure. Definitely, I think it's the most. I mean, there's not that many. I mean, Estonia is big. Estonia's animation is actually like outdoor animation or art animation is a very, very strong in Estonia. So we have a great background in both puppet animation and 2D animation. But in terms of this commercial animation, which is more commercial, this I think was the most viewed commercial puppet stop motion animation in Estonia, like local animation. So that's
wow.
So there's certainly like. So again, to answer the question, there's certainly like the film is has a lot of fans, but I'm sure it has also a lot of people who like don't like this kind of stuff. So I think we're somewhere in the middle. I'd like to think. Mick, you can disagree, but I don't know.
I agree. I think in Estonia we have like actually a really long tradition of animation and puppet film. It's like dates even back to the Soviet times, and like puppet film is like yeah, we have a really strong tradition of puppet film here. I think we have had one of the great puppet film like studios working here from the 60s, I think. But the one thing that we have never had is like all the films have been like very like artistic, like very direct, you know, how to say, like shorts, like festival shorts, and really great films. But I think we haven't had the successful like feature length like animation before the Old Man cartoon, which wasn't like only directed to like very young people or children. So I think there have been maybe some attempts a little bit. So, but I think what we a little bit succeeded in was like do something like South Park-esque, you know, this like, yeah. So I think it was also like one reason that we were a little bit successful is like we haven't like had that here in Estonia, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before. It filled a hole, like a giant tree hole.
Yeah.
In Estonia's heart.
Yeah.
Again and again. So that's good.
So you've both worked with live action and animation. Is there any preferences between the two?
Look, I think my funny thing is that, like I think I mentioned before, is my background is in live action, and it had been until that point. So my preference always naturally leaned towards live action, but now I think I got the bug of stop motion animation, and I really enjoy it. I'm a little bit of a control freak, and the fact that you can actually literal puppets, you can actually puppeteer. You know, I'm not an animator, by the way, so I didn't animate the thing, but I directed the animators. So there's a lot of control there, and you can block the scene still, you know, actually physically touch the whole scene. It's in the palm of your hand. So I really enjoyed that, but it still retains the physicality that sort of a 3D animation sort of doesn't have. Because of this, I really, right now I'm working on, Mikk is working on a different project, but we are both working on sort of a short film, what do you call it, anthology, which is comprised of different children's animations like short animations, and my film will be also stop motion in that package.
Okay.
And I'm working on that right now. And I'm so to again, like, to come back to the question, like, I don't know if I have a preference for either one of them, but definitely I have a complete like new love affair with stop motion animation specifically, and I really enjoy it. So I want to continue in that space for sure.
Nice. Mick?
It's like I wouldn't say I would prefer one to the other. It's like it's just like it has happened so in my life that I have been more involved with animation because I made the decision to like go and study animation in university. So it wasn't really a conscious decision on my part to like choose animation as my like you know, the first technique or something, but it has happened that way. But so I'm really like so yeah, I would like to do both pretty much. So they're different. They have different. I'm a film fan myself, and so I would like to make a full feature live action film for sure as well. So yeah.
Nice. You know what? It's kind of cool now that you have options, right? Like,
Sure.
it's like you have no boundaries now. You've set, obviously, the bar is super high for everybody else that now wants to make a
And
full
low
feature
at the same time.
and
so
low at the
that's-
same time. I would
high bar.
I would humbly disagree with
course.
you, Mick.
It is like
It's-
this, you know, the bar. It's like
Yeah.
You have to just like lean and, you know, go
Yeah,
through
Yeah,
it.
it's like, okay, like not
There's a-
like a limbo bar where you have to try.
No.
It keeps getting lower. It actually, yeah. Well, you know, the Olympics are just about to start, so you know that's important.
The 2020 Olympics.
Yeah, the 2020 Olympics.
It's a weird time, man. It's a weird time.
This is
It's
now
confusing.
this is now officially date stamped that we're talking about the 2020 Olympics
In 2021.
in 2021. Yeah, exactly. So obviously you guys are planning on continuing to work together. And is everything now like that's going to be animated focus in BOP? Is this now who owns that? What's the whole story? I know you talked a little bit about it, but is your projects now, are you going to work under that banner? And are you attracting more animators because of the film that you just made? I guess you didn't just make, but you know, that you've actually released.
If you're talking about like all the projects that are like attached to Old Man, then yeah, it's like our studio BOP that produces that. And in Estonia, it's like we have such a small community of like puppet animators. It's such a niche thing. So we are fortunate that we have this tradition. So now, but so still all the people that worked on the live action film, I'm pretty sure that Oskar is going to use some of those same people for his puppet film project. And at the moment, I am working on some Old Man, like shorter commercial sketches, and so it's the same thing. We're using the same animators and artists, etc. Because there is that, like, you can like count on the like 10 fingers of your hand of the best people. So yeah, so
It's
that's
kind of like
it's a freelance industry, right? Like, you know, and if you're good, I would argue that if you're the good animators, definitely have a steady flow of work here, but they cannot just be under one roof all the time. But yeah, like but I mean, like, still Bob is doing all the Old Man stuff, and your core team is still very much, I think, the same, right? It's Jakub and
sure, yeah.
You know, it's a good group of guys that they have in Bob, which is like 5 or 6 odd people who do all the sketches for now, and it's like, you know, so there's still definitely like an Old Man crew for sure, but some of them are like freelance. You know?
But is it like, that's kind of like that Field of Dreams thing? Like, you've built it now. It like you talk about it being just in Estonia, that this is kind of a bit of a niche, but I think, you know, puppet work and animation with puppets is a niche market internationally. Do you think do you think that it's going to draw people from around the world to Estonia? I mean, and I don't mean, I mean this in all seriousness, that, because, you know, mostly I'm never serious, but, you know, you think of something that you have built and, you know, you put it on the same level of, say, a Nick Park, like you really do. Like your work is, you know, when I first saw Wallace and Gromit, however many years ago that was, and then I see your movie, it's like you've now transcended to another level of comedy that I like. It was literally nonstop laughing through the whole movie for me. But do you think that that the movie itself and the fact that you've got Bob, is it going to draw people to Estonia to make animated films?
I don't know. Well, I definitely hope that some people like watch the movie, and I'm really glad that you liked it and so much. And I really hope that some people maybe like are inspired by that. And sure, like if somebody would reach out to us that they would like to intern on some of our projects, then why not? But I think that like we have this one really like grand old man of animation called Priit Pärn, who is living here in Estonia, and he also used to teach in the university. And he definitely had that kind of like magnetic power that all the international students were coming from like Brazil or wherever, like world over to study under him. So yeah, fortunately or unfortunately, the old man hasn't like brought so many people here yet. But I think still you can say that Estonia and Tallinn is a little bit like we're known for our animation. So
yeah, I mean, in a weird way. Yeah, for sure. In a weird way, what Jim is talking about is already kind of happening, right? Like, I mean, I'm working now with this Nuku Film, which is another studio. So Nuku Film is a studio which has been like over like half a century, like working in puppet animation, and also very world famous. And I'm doing the next animation with them, and they have like such a long tradition that in a way, like they are already like, as I'm talking to them, I'm discussing like who could do something, and they mentioned that, oh, we have like internship and requests from all over the world. So that's already, and it's Estonia. So I would, you can definitely spread the rumor that it all started with Old Man. I love that. It all started in 2019 with Old Man, with Mikk, Mägi, and those
guys.
And what's the genesis?
Exactly. And I mean, that goes into the history books. We just delete this part of the interview, like this is gone. And,
absolutely.
That's history. That's official history. I love it.
That's just how it happened.
I don't know. We just started playing with puppets, and hey, here we are. So, but
bam.
I mean, but
it was like the Soviet times here. It was like the Soviet times. And then we had the Old Man movie, and so that's when like everything started happening.
And everybody was free. It was like the Old Man movie freed everybody.
Oh my God! Yes, I love this story. It's great. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
But truthfully, yeah, like what you're talking about actually started happening a long time ago already. So yeah, but I think in animation circles, definitely, if we would talk to someone who is in an animation circle, I wouldn't be surprised if mentioning Estonia sort of lights up their eyes a little bit. I for example, I feel like an outsider in these circles. Mikk is like very much in the industry, and when we went. So it was a surprise to me that when we went to this Brussels Anima Festival that I mentioned earlier, it was like, people really knew, like people knew Estonian animation in a way that I don't fucking know. Like they were like so well versed, like people from all over not just Europe, but just all over the world. I was embarrassed. I didn't know my own country's animation tradition like half as well as they did. So it's crazy. Yeah, like there's definitely a lot of love for Estonian animation.
And Mick's now rolling his eyes at you like, ugh.
Yeah, why? Come on. Why
I can't believe I work with this guy who didn't know my whole life.
I have really like big, like, round eyes. So they just roll sometimes.
Yeah, do you by the way, notice that Mick's face is very much like the old man's face? Maybe if you like elongate a little bit, but look.
And age it a bit. Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah. It's
okay, now
right?
can you just do Mark's voice for me? I just want to hear Mark's voice.
Mark? Did you? Oh yeah. Mark.
Oh my God. You're putting me on the spot. I don't remember. I haven't done his voice for such a long time. No, I can't do it. No, I don't remember it. Sorry, I'm introverted Estonian. It's just like,
yeah, you know what? The voices were all amazing.
I can do the old man voice. Hello, Jim. We want to milk my cow. We want this cow to explode. You have to put your hand on the udder. Yes, we need the milk, Jim. Yes, slower. Do it slower. Yes.
Very good intensity.
Okay, this is the last, I guess, real formal question that we have, which to me is the most important question, but for you guys, it'd be like, whatever. When am I going to be able to buy this film? Because I have tried everywhere, and I cannot buy this film. So is there a way? Like, is this going to get
like a physical copy? You mean like a DVD?
Yeah, it could be physical. It could be digital. I don't care. I just want to own it, so I don't have to spend $7 every week from Spamflix to rent it.
I think you should. I will give you the link right away.
So we can order it straight from Estonian packaging.
Straight from Estonia. Yeah.
Now, is it going to be international player, or because you know how there's different player things?
There's regions, right? Like for the DVDs.
I think it should work because I think I have already. I've sent it to some of my relatives in the States, so they.
Okay, and it worked for them.
It worked for them. Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you. You've made my day for that reason, and for the reason that you've spent time with us. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah. No, I really.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So is there anything that you still want to share with our listeners about anything before we close off? Like anything you want to say about the movie, yourselves, what you're doing, or where you can be contacted if you want to be contacted? I had to sleuth you guys a little bit to find you, but do you want to share your social media or whatever?
Well, sure. You can follow the old man on Instagram. If you go on Instagram, then it's, I think, Vanamehe multikas. And also you can follow our Facebook page and our old man YouTube, and go check out our new ice cream commercial that we made. You can see the old man's face moving for the first time.
Nice.
So yeah, go do that.
I don't know, guys. Is there any, because I don't know if everyone can write like Vanamehe multikas just by the pronunciation, or maybe you can put some links that people, if they
wanna... sure. If you want to send us the links, we'll add it to our show notes.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Yeah,
so that we can put it in there for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, I have definitely follow Old Man wherever you can, and I think once we have our next films ready and at festivals, maybe. I would love to meet you guys and all your cool listeners and the watchers of Film Rage. I would love to meet them in the cinema hall, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, when you come here, they will all be here. I can tell you that for sure.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, that's it for our interview process. Again, thanks everyone. Thanks Ragers for listening. You can find us at Film Rage on social media and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com. Find us on YouTube by searching Film Rage Podcast to see what we look like. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us an email to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Thanks again to Oskar and Mick for joining. We cannot thank you enough. For those listening, if you have not seen the Old Man movie, call in sick right now, wherever you are, and go to spamflix.com. That's spamflix.com. Search the Old Man movie or the Estonian equivalent spelling of the movie, and search it and watch it and rent it. You will not be disappointed. That's it for our special verbal masturbation episode for today. Rage on.
Rage on.
Rage on.
Thank you, guys.
That was awesome.
It was a pleasure.